Thank you everybody for coming tonight. Welcome to TechKnow. We decided to do a sort of a community outreach, education, informative meeting once a month. Was that back in September or August? August. And with that, we've actually kind of come up with a few ideas for different things that we could do beyond just the meeting. When we originally built the building back in, or finished the building in the fall of last year, we kind of had a vision of eventually having a classroom environment in here where we could, teach people things that aren't necessarily offered in school, foster interest in youth, in programming, in networking, in web design, and other things of technical fields. We have kind of taken that original vision and fostered it into a larger, much more broad vision of what we want to do. We have set up in here 12 stations for students, and with that we have 3D printing. We also have on the computers Minecraft for students. We have multiple individuals with the group that want to teach anything from 3D printing to programming to web design. And we're actually forming a nonprofit. With the nonprofit, we hope to partner with other groups in the community, companies, basically anybody that's willing to participate. And our main goal is to basically offer youth, kids who are looking at going to college, people who are looking at maybe changing careers, people that just have interest in, hey, that looks neat, I want to do it. Offering them opportunities to come, learn, expand their knowledge, and give back and share, because after somebody gets an interest in, say, 3D printing, I've never done it before until all of 2 days ago. It's actually incredibly easy.
You started it this morning.
I looked at it before.
Okay.
But anyway, it's incredibly easy, and it wasn't apparent to me how incredibly easy it was until I was shown by Tori that there's a thing called Thingiverse. There's a little program called Cura. Otherwise, I would have been lost. I wouldn't have known any of it. And this morning, I printed I think 7 or 8 different things. Things that are functional for this classroom. For instance, in front of every computer station, we have a Wacom tablet. This is the tablet that allows you to draw in a modeling program, drafting program, or whatnot. And each tablet has a stylus. Well, the problem is with the tablets, there is a little fabric loop on top that you have to put the stylus in to store it. Well, it'd be nice if there was like a pen holder. Well, on Thingiverse, there's a pen holder. It took me 20 minutes to put it on an SD card after I picked out, oh, that's the one I want, and all of 45 minutes to print it. And I have a functional object. But back to TechKnow, we have a group of people that I think are pretty well-rounded. We have Tony Varelli, Tori Proctor, myself, Aaron Techen, and John Hass. Aaron and myself and John own a company that has been involved in technology for about 10 years. We're primarily in telephone. John also has been a programmer since he was in, I don't even know what single-digit grade in school, but he's always had a kind of a big drive for learning about things with computers and programming. Tony is a web designer, and Tori is a teacher at school. And I think with that kind of base with the individuals we have involved, we'll be able to, provide a good learning environment for students to come in, regardless of their age or experience. I guess right now I'd like to turn it over to Tony or Tori if they'd like to come up and maybe talk about themselves just a little bit. Introduce yourself.
Get your pretty mug up here. Tony Verley. I lived in this area my whole life. I'm actually one of the owners at Imagine, which is now Bizotech, but here in Spencer we do web design and programming. And the thing I'm excited about for TechKnow is the fact that this is something we can give to the kids. There's nothing like this in the area. There should be. There's a lot of kids in this kind of size town, and even in Iowa in general, unless you're in a bigger city, that probably don't even know that there's such a thing as 3D printing. It's also a daunting task to expect teachers who are already on a tight budget to try to have to come out and learn a brand new technology, turn around, and then for schools to afford 3D printers, which cost upwards of $2,000 a piece, and then the software to develop these things to go out and teach these kids how to do this. In my school when I grew up, I had absolutely no form of programming or anything. The closest thing we got was yearbook class where we got to use Photoshop and Illustrator to do print layout. It was like mass media was the name of the course. I didn't get exposed to programming until college. And I just love the idea that kids in the area who might not know that they like technology, or even adults for that fact, could come in here and learn how to 3D print or learn how to program some code. I know there were some commercials not that long ago that specifically talked about coding will be the new class that will be required for a job. If you don't know how to do basic coding, you're not going to get a job. Everyone puts on their applications, oh, I know Microsoft Office, I know Word, I know Excel, PowerPoint. They used to ask questions on applications on how many words per minute could you type, because they didn't know if you knew how to use a keyboard or not. That's not a question, that's expected, that you know how to use those programs going into these things, into jobs these days. So being able to add things to your resume like, oh, I know 3D printing, 3D modeling, I know programming, I know basic web design. Other things we might be teaching are app development, mobile app development for phones, tablets, things along those lines. So I'm excited for what we're going to be able to do here, and I definitely think we're in the right area because we're not near anything like this. So people from around the area can come to us, and we can be the central hub for getting maker spaces and technology started in our area. So I'll let Tori talk now.
My name's Tori Proctor, and I'm second year STEM teacher at Spencer Schools, and prior to that I've been teaching art for 10 years. And my story starts about 5 years ago, where I wanted to teach myself a bunch of digital art things that I never had the opportunity to learn about in school. And I learned how to make video games, and I learned how to do vector art and raster art. And then I took it upon myself to learn how to make the digital files for 3D printing. And then I learned how to do digital sculpting, which is very artistic. And it just kind of started snowballing, all these different tools. And my mission started to become gobbling up all this creative real estate. There's all these cool things you can do out there. And now I'm sandbagged. I've got all these cool things to do. And I'm teaching STEM in the elementary, loving it. But there's these things that I know how to do that I'd like to share that are more appropriate for middle school students or high school students. As challenging as they are, as open-ended as they are, or adults. And so, that's kind of my part in this, is that this is exciting for me as an art teacher at heart, and a person that loves technology, that we have all these tools, and we have all these people, all these adults that are professionals, and we have the tools, we have people that are specialists. So if I needed to make an app or needed to make a logo, I can get in touch with those people. And wouldn't it be neat to have that for everybody? Because as a group of 5, we have that. And our guests here tonight, we can network with you, and we can use your expertise and ask you questions. But how cool would that be to have that open and available to everyone? So that's kind of the mission of TechKnow. Is it'd be cool to have kids teach us, and kids teaching kids, and kids teaching adults outside of the group. So that's kind of my speech of it. And we're starting with 3D printing, and I know we're gonna have lots of different teachers. So it's exciting. That's my speech.
Yep. And actually, we are in the, Tony kind of touched on it, in the process of making an official maker space. Basically what that'll be is a place that is open to the general public to come in and, take a file, load it onto an SD card, and print an object. Go and actually create an object and print it. It'll be based on a membership basis, and we're actually going to put in a secure key entry. So if you're a member, you can come here during a set window of hours. We might not be here, but you can come in, swipe your card, use the computers. If you want to come in and play Minecraft, you can do that. If you want to come in and work on a coding project, you can do that. If you want to come in and like I said, make a 3D print, you can do that. It's going to be set up on a membership basis. We haven't really finalized exactly what the fee is going to be, but it's going to be very affordable. It's not going to be anything outrageous. As far as classes are concerned, we're going to have multiple different classes that will be anything from a one-day class where you come in and just learn how to use a 3D printer. Because that's going to be one of our prerequisites for membership is, just a quick, couple hours, learn how to use it, learn how to change the filament, learn how to, load the file in, print it, how to get it off the print bed, just the general knowledge you're going to need to be able to use a printer. And there might be things as advanced as, making a 3D object in Blender, which is a 3D modeling software, and then, actually converting that into a printable object. Really, our options are only limited by the people who want to help and contribute to the group. So to that, I'm going to have Aaron do a quick little demo on how to do a 3D print.
Can I talk in the room too?
You can talk.
Okay, thank you. With this space, between Tony, John, myself, we have 8 kids invested into this community that are second grade and younger. So we'd like to start all this with the ground floor to making this technology available to the entire community. And I'd like to talk to Governor Branstad. I know you're going to watch this tomorrow. You've been my governor my entire life, pretty much, other than Culver and Vilsack, but other than that. I'm your typical Iowan. Right after I graduated, I moved out of state. So I'm a little over 30 now, I've spent a third of my life in another state. This is the kind of stuff that makes true Iowans move back and make rural communities better. So we'll get started on absolutely simple 3D printing.
The background's awesome.
I picked it up myself. We're going to do simple places to look. Thingiverse. All the stuff that you see on the 3D printer, you don't have to design. You don't have to. All you got to do is look. If you're worried about having to design your own stuff, somebody's already beat you to it, and it'll be exactly what you're looking for, like high heel shoes.
I didn't know.
That's in fashion, so we'll get out of that. But for example, bus of whoever your favorite person is. I started off, I found that. Who else could I do but Nikola Tesla? Without this, without AC current, none of this would be even happening. And he turned out great. Printed on his back. It looks like John a little bit, but it looks great. So I was really happy with that. So I got going again. And you can just, as you can see, there is no shortage of what's available. Like Matt talked about, either with your stylus pen holders, or even if you notice all your computers on the little blotches of color on the front, headphone holders. Don't need to buy them. You can just make them. You also notice, Tony, put the logo in them.
And actually, these stylus holders, all 3 models of them, were specifically designed and available for the tablets and the pens that we have on our desks.
Just tell them, they were tell them those were designed specifically.
Yeah. I mean, they were found on Thingiverse, and the headphone clips were designed specifically by somebody that uploaded the file on Thingiverse for the monitors we actually have. So, I mean, the depth of items that is available out there is pretty crazy to think that, I can go and look up 24E310 and find the headphone clip for it, download the file and print it in 20 minutes. And I mean, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, like I touched on before, if you want to find it, you're not stuck on what's available at Walmart anymore, what's available at the store. If you want it, you got the time, you can make it yourself, and it's exactly what you want. Like a Thingiverse, David Colbert, several Greek gods. And
Caesar.
Caesar, yeah. So, but Thingiverse is a good place to start. And we can also go to Ms. Dwayne.
Are there any royalty issues or anything that you have to deal with when you take something off of the internet and print it? Because it's an exact copy of something, right?
Right. Well, okay, we'll just dive into that right now. Let's pick Stephen Colbert.
I've had a student get a message from Thingiverse saying that it stopped before the print because there's a copyright issue. So someone saw it and disagreed, and so they pulled it and sent a message out. So it seemed to happen one time.
Yeah, I'm sure it does happen.
It's kind of the Wild West right now. Right there.
A lot of the items, like for instance the Wacom pen holder things I downloaded, they had right on them a license that's similar to the way they do open source software.
It's Creative Commons, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, usually these have the CC logo on them. I don't remember where.
It was just, if you go back to the beginning, right there.
Is it in details?
Yeah, on the bottom right-hand side. You just click on that license right there, scroll down, bottom right there. The PD has got the little CC next to it.
Right.
If you just click on that logo, it'll tell you the license. And you can, right there.
So,
And really, I think the only place you're going to run into an issue is if you try to sell the items commercially.
Some of these commercials, there's 4 options on Thingiverse, as far as I can tell, and a couple other softwares. The Creative Commons say you can license it for sale, not for sale, and then there's Creative Commons has a lot. There's like share and share alike, which pretty much says I created this, and you can use it as well, but you can't modify it, but you can't use it for commercial purposes. Or I might give you a license where you can do whatever you want with this. This is mine, but you can take it, repurpose it for any purpose you want, and you can also sell it if you'd like to.
That's an important concept in itself to learn about different licenses.
Martha Stewart was pretty smart. She came out with her own life and owned it. So she's getting a cut.
it's mostly in the earth tones, though, isn't it?
No, it's
Harvest, really in the harvest.
Soft pastels.
Her bestseller, Harvest Gold.
Robin's A.
Rob-
I
I thought it was insider trading green.
Tinkercad's another one. Tony spends a lot of time on this. He does the TechKnow logos and stuff like that off of that. I use Thingiverse a little bit more, and then also Ultimaker. We have the Ultimaker 2s. Really wish we had the Ultimaker 2 extended so I could do the wing of the plane. That looks cool.
I wonder if we can turn that into a rocket.
You can turn anything into a rocket.
Imagine you get these just $30 difference.
Thanks, Braden. So anyway, you can look through that. It'll give you ideas too, and it'll also tell you a lot more about an Ultimaker. But then, if you find something on Thingiverse that you like, that's not
Do the green skull.
what? Okay. Matt wants to do the green skull. He's going to make a green skull.
Oh, it's Halloween.
Yeah.
That's a good trend.
Let's go back to Stephen Colbert.
You're really stuck on Steven.
I like him. You can go to download this thing. You can look in the bottom. It'll show you all the different. I'm surprised his glasses aren't separate, actually. But you can click on it. It'll go into your download. One thing you'll have to watch for is what you are printing. If it is 2 pieces, just watch out for that, or however many pieces there are, to make sure you get them all. Ooh, that could have been bad. So, and then, once you actually click on it, it downloads. You can go to Cura, C-U-R-A. Open that up. That, as you see, looks a lot like the print bed. So, and I did not do Stephen Colbert, I'm sorry. But we can go back to, now that I downloaded a base for this rocket, I can just click on it, drag it over. I got the exact same thing. Nothing technical about it. Click, drag. The only thing is, once you get to this point, you want to pay attention to how it's going to print. It won't work that way. So it'll just rotate, click the rotate button. You got rotate, rest, lay flat, and then scale. And the mirror image just does like it says. But then you can just rotate, not that way. There we go. Bring it up to a 90 or 89, however it chooses to be picky. And then there you go. I'm ready to print it up. And you see in the top left-hand corner, for Ulti-quality, the best quality that it has, it's at 11 and a half hours. I don't really have that much time to wait. So even if you just knock it down to high quality, we'll see what that does. 7 hours, not too bad. Or if you just want to get it done, 2 hours for a fast print. The difference in that is just sloppiness for the flat between the fast, normal. And you start getting to the high and the Ulti, it's going to move a lot slower. It's going to lay it down slower. And then also it'll be, if you do something that is solid, it'll make a difference on the webbing or the wafer or whatever you want to call it on the inside. It'll be a lot smaller the closer to Ulti-quality that you get, and a lot more open, not as strong for the faster side of the print. You got an SD card?
There's a stack of them right there.
Oh, perfect. And if top left-hand logos, you see the middle one. Watch as soon as you put the SD in, it will change. Sometime.
Not with that one.
Probably not. It's probably. But there's a lot of other things
There
you
it
can
goes.
do. Also, while I'm thinking of it, you can do layers. It'll give you how it plans to do it. X-ray, transparent. You got a lot of other options. easy to come by. So, and then also we can just go, all right, we got the rocket on there. It's the position that we want to go. Click on SD. It's saved. You see on the bottom it says saved. So I have it on the SD now. And you just hit eject. Now I can eject the card. You hand it over to Matt, and then you go tell him to go print it. And then you add please behind it.
There is an open one.
Yeah, it's I already have plenty. This is another one I found on Thingiverse, is the base of the rocket. So I decided to make the two-piece rocket, since we had more than one Ultimaker, printed it off on two. What they used to shoot this in the air was a half-inch piece of PVC with a lawn sprinkler, a bicycle pump, and a battery
And a canister made out of like 4-inch PVC.
with no more than 80 PSI. Their idea was fine. I didn't like it. I preferred a 80-gallon air tank at 200 and
It's 175.
175 PSI. So we made several of them. As you can see, this is your rocket. This is your rocket on concrete. Big difference.
It's stuck in the ground pretty good.
Is there any other interface to the printer besides the SD card?
No.
No, you just put it on the SD card. You put it in, and then also you'll scroll down, find what you're looking for, and then hit print.
You need a certain size SD card for different projects, or?
The files really aren't that big. I mean, they're
No.
like a third of a meg.
The biggest file I've ever seen was 22 megs. That was a really big
Yeah,
file.
like the file for these rockets was like 350 kilobytes. So it's.
There are some printers that just look up at USB, but
Oh, you're gonna play that one?
It's the one that showed up.
Whoa.
And it disappears for a while.
It actually went quite a ways up there.
you have to decide when you did install it upwards.
Yeah, I gotta find
That
it.
was
It's still playing. Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's just slow-mo, so it takes forever.
It actually comes back down.
Out of frame.
So. Here's another one.
Sorry, my reaction time with the camera was a little slow.
And note, if you want to take a picture of a rocket in the sky, don't do it in blue. It's really hard to see. Yep, and right about there is why you wouldn't want to stand underneath it. It's stuck into the ground every time. So, I don't know if did you take one in regular? It was all. Oh yeah, that's why you super glue the two pieces together. So, that's about it. That was the fun rocket
Yeah, that was our
adventure out of it.
rocketeering this morning.
And then also, the other things that were made, like I've talked to several people about, were duck calls and stuff, and it's just really amazing with the duck calls is how thin they can actually print
Yeah,
to
that-
actually make a read.
Yeah, it actually printed the read for the duck call, which is pretty crazy.
That is it.
If you guys
Anything
have
else?
questions, make sure you talk really, really loud so the microphones are together.
We could probably redirection the microphone.
Well, we needed to still hear you talk too, so.
What's your target date for having memberships? When do you plan?
Well, they're going to start construction on the actual secondary entry with the key card access and whatnot on Thursday. The lead time on the door is 3 to 4 weeks for the secure entry door. So it's probably going to be middle of December at the earliest. We'll probably just plan on like New Year. We kind of want to get a class in here first for the 3D printing and, you know, kind of get all the kinks worked out. Not necessarily kinks of the class, but, you know, there might be like, oh, we need a lot more SD cards or, you know, different things that we just don't know because we haven't had a class through. And every day we're in here, we figure out that, oh, it'd be nice to have a stylus holder, or it'd be nice to have headphone holders, or, you know, there's all sorts of little, you know, just little tweaks we can do to make it better.
Girl Scouts are coming tomorrow. It'll be 5 girls, 1 girl's working in play, but Amy Clark and I have a junior first Lego League team that we're starting here. We're lucky enough to have the cool space to do this and bring the Legos tomorrow, and you know that might be a gateway for them to do some computer stuff down the road, or coding or 3D printing, whatever. I know the girls have to come up with a logo. We could do that digitally because of the size.
You could 3D print your own Lego with a logo in it.
Yeah, we're going to be working at a team meeting tomorrow.
Cool.
Just hopefully one of the many cool things to happen here.
Do you have any idea what membership fees might be? Have anything in mind?
We're thinking it's probably going to be in the $20 to $30 range, so like per month. So nothing too extreme, but we haven't really finalized anything yet.
So there's some chat of some free classes, and then some like advanced classes that you pay.
Yeah, I mean the pricing for the classes, I mean, it's more got to do with the person teaching the class than the space, because we have the money invested into it and we're not really looking to turn a profit. So
What all would that cover?
what
The membership would.
the membership is basically just to have a key to get in the door and use the space. So if you want to come in here and play Minecraft after school, or you want to come in here and 3D print on the weekend, or what,
And then.
whatever.
Like pay for project and print or.
Oh, we're kind of still up on the air on that. I mean, really, like, it's pretty hard to print something really expensive. The only expense you're going to have is the time when the printer gets used. I mean, the filament for most of these prints is like 2.5 meters. It actually tells you when you put it in there. The filament itself, like a 2.5 meter chunk of filament, is like 20 cents. So you'd have to print a lot to break the bank, so to speak. And really, the membership fees are just going to go back into supplies and whatever we want to get for the computers. And it's not, like I said, it's not really a profit. It's not a profit deal. Ken?
We were talking about, getting youth involved, so elaborate on that, or
Well-
how you're gonna market that?
Well, I guess the first thing we want to get involved is the different individuals in the community that have the skills to come in here and contribute to 3D printing or programming or web design or anything that they could teach that might spark an interest into youth that would could foster into a career. Because they might see that, oh, I really like 3D modeling, or oh, I really like CAD, or oh, I really enjoy the fact that I can take, this idea I have in my head and turn it into something physical or a program. With that, getting the individuals with the skill sets in here, we can then, hopefully get the youth to get the knowledge transferred to more youth, be it, them teaching other kids how to do it, teaching adults how to do it. I guess it's the idea here is that it's a community learning experience, not a, I stand up here and tell you what you need to do. I mean, I want it to be where, and then I think we all want it to be, is where it's a group effort. So I guess that's kind of where I was going with the youth thing. And like Aaron's kids have come in here and played Minecraft, and I think, did they print anything?
Yeah, little robots.
And they printed the little robots, and they thought that was pretty cool. And I mean, if you can take, how old's Aiden? 7, 6, 7, 6, gonna be 7.
Ethan's gonna be sick.
Yeah. I mean, if you can take a 6-year-old and spark an interest in 3D printing, and I mean, if I was shown a 3D printer when I was 6, I'd probably know a 3D printer like I know a computer now. I mean, it's just it's going to be second nature if if they're experienced and exposed to it. So
It's a prime. I have twins. I have 4-year-old kids, and I'll print those stuff off and take it home. Like I printed off a race car for my son, and I get the question at least once a week, "Daddy, when are you going to print me something?" And now to them, it's just common sense that if they want a toy, Daddy can go in and print a toy for them. It's like printing off a picture on the printer to you is how they feel now about 3D printing. It's just obvious. I could print anything for them if they want it. And now that's almost a hassle for me because he's like, print me a rocket ship. I'm like, what? Well, now I have one.
There you go.
Now he's, yeah, I can have that broken one, thanks.
I teach some 3D printing to elementary kids, and I asked the class, I mean, after I showed them how you can make action figures with this app, and I gave them some time to play around. It's a free app, there's so many free tools out there. At the end of class, I asked the kids, let's pretend let's imagine you have 2 choices. One choice is, I buy you any action figure that you want at Walmart. Or the other choice is you design your own action figure. Out of a class of 25, 24 out of 25 want to design their own action figure. That's powerful. I don't know where the kid, I don't know, maybe one kid didn't get it. How cool it was,
maybe he was just a rebel.
Maybe, but that's powerful stuff. Customization is going to be so huge for everything. Or think of our shoes.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have form-fitting shoes in the future. So,
It's all Noah's talked about since Thursday when I brought it in here. Just the reading.
yeah, your kids have been catching me in the hall. Like I've already seen them 2 or 3 times, and they keep showing me their robots, and I'm ecstatic for them. But it'd be great to have more kids have that opportunity.
Yeah, hopefully. They can get it with this place. So.
Ken's got another question.
I do, yeah. You spoke there are several resolutions or quality of, what kind of tolerances can this thing do?
The tolerances, I believe, are 0.2 of a millimeter.
Is that an American?
200 micron.
The other side of the ruler?
That actually can. They measure it in microns, which is tenths of millimeters or fractions of millimeters.
So, again, 10,000.
Yeah, it's not much. I mean, it's like,
Could fabricate.
I think a human hair is like a tenth of a millimeter or something like that. So
It's pretty fun.
yeah, it's. I guess another thing we didn't really touch on is, with the printers you can do, obviously Thingiverse, you can do Tinkercad, but you can also do 3D scanning. And we have a 3D scanner here, and then we also are going to get a Kinect set up, and there's some iPad apps and stuff you can do. So you could actually go and scan a pop can or scan somebody's head or somebody's hand, and go through and turn around and print that. So
With the Kinect I hooked it up at Spirit Lake and had a student help me. I brought in a Kinect, he hooked it up on free software again, everything's free, except the Kinect. And we scanned a classmate, sat him in a chair, and we had a friend who strolled up and down with the Kinect, and we printed out a bust of the classmate with free software, and all we needed was an Xbox Kinect. So we're planning to do some creative stuff and have those tools here.
I mean, I think the biggest thing here is that we give the tools, make them available, and then go to town. See what you can come up with. Yeah, actually, they do prosthetics, 3D printed prosthetics now. And they use 3D scanners to.
We got students that are challenges. There's challenges all over. You can win printers, 3D printers. You can win big money. You might even have, a wall of fame or a project of the month. There's going to be tons of projects that are cool, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Thank you very much.